By the end of that year, we made like $500,000.
Wow.
And there was a ton of testing and tweaking, and it was like, wow, like this is it. Like I found the lottery.
You're listening to the We Love Equity Real Estate Show, a podcast that discusses the intricacies of real estate investing with your host, Marcus E. Maloney. Marcus is a real estate investor best known for being the equity king. He's been awarded that moniker because he and his team find amazing real estate deals. He will be talking with investors who have done some transformational things in the real estate industry. They'll discuss their process, their strategies, and how their investments transform their lives and the communities they invest in. We welcome you to the We Love Equity Real Estate Show.
The We Love Equity Show is brought to you by 𝒔𝒉𝒂𝒓𝒊𝒃𝒆, widely recognized as an outstanding resource for real estate investors with exceptional education, networking, and support, along with profit-enhancing benefits in all aspects of real estate investing. Visit 𝒔𝒉𝒂𝒓𝒊𝒃𝒆 at www.𝒔𝒉𝒂𝒓.org. That's visit 𝒔𝒉𝒂𝒓 at www.𝒔𝒉𝒂𝒓.org. Hello. Welcome, We Love Equity listeners. How you guys doing today? Today we have another great show, another great episode, and another great guest. On today, we have Zack Boothe, who hails from Utah, and he's a wholesaler that's doing a lot of things there in that cold weather over there in Utah, but he's actually getting deals. And we're going to talk about a challenge that he introduced to his audience that I'm going to let him talk to you guys about, because we want to talk about really the psychology of success, how you guys can get started, how you can move in the right direction and stop just analyzing deals and, you know, going to YouTube University, but actually getting out there, taking action. So Zack, man, how are you doing today? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, bro. Super good to be here. And yeah, I'm sick of the cold. It's snowing today, man. It's April. It's not supposed to be snowing.
Is it? Wow. You know what? I'm not too far away from you. I'm in Phoenix, and we have a little front coming in. It'll be about 80 degrees today, so that's a little chilly for us.
Oh, a little cold front. I actually was down in Phoenix. I was on the Real Estate Disruptors podcast in January and was chasing javelina. Yeah. I was chasing javelina with my bow and arrow, and then did a little podcast while I was down there too. Dude, it was so awesome.
Perfect.
Oh, so nice down there.
Yeah, Steve and Max, man, they freak with us. We're good friends, man. Because cool. I'm a big part of the RIA here, and we always get a chance to collaborate. So
that's cool. Yeah.
All right, man. So give us your background. Tell us who you are, what you've been doing. First of all, who you are and how you got started before real estate investing.
Yeah, before real estate, professionally, I was a window cleaner, right? I had a little window cleaning business. So it was definitely not as exciting as real estate. That is for sure. You know, from the outside looking in, I was pretty successful though, right? I had, by the time I walked away from it and said, I'm done, told my business partner, if there's profits, pay me. If not, cash me out. And if not, whatever. I was done. And which is sad, you know, as a business started when I was 17 years old. I ran it for a couple of years, had a couple employees, wrote work release hours for myself in high school, you know, had my own LLC and everything. I got that on my birthday when I was 18, you know, you had to be 18. And, you know, I worked hard from the time I was a young kid. You know, my parents said, you're a grown man, you pay for your own stuff at 16 years old. And so if I wanted to play, you know, school ball, I had to pay for all my stuff. I got made fun of because I only had one pair of shoes and they were just haggard, you know, and, and I was cheap as could be too, because I wanted to be able to have some money and go on dates and, you know, and I was working all these different jobs. And so by the time I was 17, I had, you know, made handcrafted cheese, taxidermy, wood mill, framed houses, finished carpentry, landscaping. And my junior year summer, I went to Nova Scotia, Canada, worked for a family friend doing landscaping and stuff up there and taking care of one of their summer homes. And I was working like 80 hours a week, and it was hard labor. I remember we were building retaining walls and throwing sod, and I remember we were just staying in this little bunkhouse on this nice property. You know, we were just the grunts, man. I was just.
So you left Utah and went to Canada. So you went from cold to even colder, but
Yeah.
you did it during the summertime. So that
So it was actually beautiful, so green. You know, it's like it was cool. You could see Prince Edward Island off of the property we were staying at, and all the crab pots or the I guess lobster buoy things.
Okay.
You know, and we'd get fresh lobster. It's like I remember it was like $2 for a giant. You know,
man, that sounds good.
Giant oh, dude, it was so good. Dude. I ate so much freaking lobster. Anyways, when I was there though, I remember at night my hands would cramp up, and I'd have to like open up my hands with my forearms at night, like because my hands were so sore from working so hard. And you know, I had all those experience, and by the time I was done with that, I was like, all right, like I gotta quit trading time for money, because I don't have enough time to give, and plus I don't get paid very much.
Right.
You know, and then on top of that, I was so annoyed because I felt like I was really like hardworking and really wanted to do well, and I wasn't taken serious because I was 17 years old. I was just a stupid kid, and looking back, I know that now, you know, but I thought I was something special, and I wanted to get paid more. And so I was like, you know what, that's it. I'm going to do my own thing. And I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was 14.
Okay.
So I already had this like bug in me, this desire to kind of be in control of my financial life.
Now, let me ask you this real quick, Zach. Was your mom and dad, were they entrepreneurial, or
no,
you just had that itch?
Oh, no, I did it out of necessity. My dad's been at the same company since he was 19. He's 62 years old. Same company. It's sold 3 times. He hasn't left. Same building.
Wow.
Yeah. So my dad's like OCD, very structured life, same company, right? Like it was death. It was absolute death if I left a dirty dish in the sink, you know, like me and him are so different. He thinks I'm crazy and I think he's crazy. We love each other, but we're different. We're very different. You know, my mom's, they're both hard workers though. They forced me to work. They taught me to work from the time I was 11 till I was 15. And I went out and started working for other people. I worked for the family lawn mowing business. So my dad worked his corporate job, and then we'd mow lawns after work, you know, and after school. And so they taught me to work. My mom went to school, was waiting tables at night, taking care of kids during the day, and then doing night classes and all sorts of stuff. Pregnant with my youngest brother while she was doing nursing school, graduated. I mean, they're dedicated, amazing human beings, right? Great parents, but you know, my dad considered me a man at 16. He cut me off financially. And so there was this necessity to make more money, which was the greatest thing he ever did for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it was a big aha moment in my life that I needed something different. And so I remember when I was 12 or 13, we were mowing lawns after work. And I remember I was so bitter about it. I did not want to go do that. You know, I did not want to go mow lawns. And I remember asking my dad, kind of upset. I was like, Dad, like, why are we mowing these guys' lawn? No one mows our lawn.
Right.
I was like, why are their houses so big? Ours is tiny. You know, like I was like asking him all these questions, and you know, good for my dad. He didn't let it hurt his ego or anything. He didn't lash out to me. And I had all these questions about money, and he said, you know what, talk to my friend Clint. You know, my friend Clint's really rich. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? Clint's broke. Have you seen his truck? You know? And he's like, no, Clint's just cheap, son. He's really rich. I was like, okay. So I asked Clint, and Clint gave me the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I read that as a young kid. And my brain already started working. Well, how do I make more money? So I already wanted to start a business young. So at 17, I started that window cleaning business and ran it for a decade. And starting out, I had no idea how to wash windows. I didn't know how to price it. I knew nothing. I just thought, like, what business could I do? And started brainstorming, like, what service businesses. I didn't want to mow lawns anymore. I had mowed way too many lawns already. It's like, this sucks.
Not for you, huh?
Not for me. So then I started doing some research. What could I do? What equipment could I buy? You know, my dad wouldn't even co-sign a loan for my truck. So Nova Scotia happened so I could buy a truck, right? It was 80-hour work weeks. I come home, buy a truck cash, and got my first cell phone. But I had to go to T-Mobile, or not T-Mobile, but Cricket, because they didn't require a credit score, and I wasn't 18. So it was the only cell phone I could get because my dad wouldn't co-sign that either. And so like, I was like having to like figure things out to start this little business. And I got some business cards printed out, and I called on the Yellow Pages, a window cleaning company, to come out and bid my dad's house. So I know how to bid window cleaning.
Right. Smart.
I was just like pulling, you know, whatever I could figure out to make it happen. And, you know, I did a lot of cool things. You know, I ended up on the History Channel because of window cleaning. I Yeah, from the outside looking in, I have, you can look up window cleaning ventures on YouTube and you can find my window cleaning tutorials. So I created some window cleaning tutorials for my staff because I had so much high turnover for my window cleaning technicians. And so I created these how-to videos for them. I had no idea anybody wanted to watch videos. I have one video that's got like 10 million views and like 20,000 comments.
Wow.
Yeah, blown away. I ended up on the History Channel. They use some of the clips of my videos and stuff. Really cool things happened, but I was able to get my first duplex, living in one side, renting the other while I was growing this business. Bought a second one, moved into it. Then my wife got pregnant. She's like, "Hey, we're not living with tenants anymore. We're not hopping house to house, And so,
don't that suck, man? It's like, I got a good thing going here. You know why you want to disrupt all of that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're gonna make us rich, babe. She's like, "I want quality of life, Zach." I'm like, good for me, And so I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? I had all these roadblocks. Now I needed 25% down, right? To get a loan, and my debt to income ratio was an issue. And there was just lots of things that was keeping me from doing deals. Okay. Right. And so I kind of got stuck. I kind of got frustrated and discouraged. And the bigger I got with my business, the less money I was making. Right. I was making more. I had years that I made nearly 6 figures, but it was me working my butt off with 2 to 3 employees and 2 trucks. That's it. Okay. And I got to the point where I had 3 trucks and 13 employees.
Wow.
And it sucked because I was making like 40 to 50 grand a year.
See, and you know what? A lot of people look at that. They say, wow, you know what? This guy, he's young. He got all of these accounts. He got trucks. He got employees. He must be doing really, really well. But, like you said, on the outside looking in, everything looks great. But then you being in that driver's seat, you're like, man, I'm working 100+ hour weeks. And I got to make sure I got these payroll taxes ready and payroll ready and everything like that.
Yeah, it's painful, dude. It sucked. Honestly, it was the worst thing ever. But I learned so many amazing things along the way. Okay. Right. And one of the big things that made me go, okay, something has to change. I have to make a change was the day my son was born. I didn't think my bill would come back so high. And I remember shortly after he was born, it's the most magical moment of my life. Just beautiful being there with my sweetheart that I love dearly. We've been married 10 years now. And anyways, but the doctor, the nurse, I can't remember, came in. It's like, hey, your bill's ready for you. And because I had been asking, like, I was a little nervous about the money. And
right.
So I find out I can't even get close to covering the bill. And I remember being so stressed out. And then I was upset because I was worried about money on that day.
Yeah. Couldn't enjoy the childbirth.
Yeah, I couldn't enjoy the most special day of my life, becoming a father. Like there is no better and greater thing that can happen to a man. Right. And I was so upset because I felt like a loser. I felt like a failure. I felt like I wasn't qualified to be a dad. I felt like I was failing the kid from day one. I had all these like inner horrible thoughts about myself and my accomplishments. And don't get me wrong, I worked hard. And that's what upset me so much. Because I had been trying, I had been grinding, I'd been pushing. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Right. And I looked at my financial life and what happened and the rentals I had. I was like, that's the easiest money I ever made.
Yeah.
I need more. How do I get more of this? And that's when I really dug in and started listening to podcasts like this and reading books and trying to figure out a way. And I learned about wholesaling, found out about wholesaling, went to my business partner a few weeks later and I said, hey, I quit.
Wow. Okay.
I hadn't even done a wholesale deal. It was March 2nd, 2017. It was my birthday. And I said, let's go to lunch. And I said, hey, I quit, bro. I was like, if there's profits, great. And he joined the company a couple years before. I had ran it about 8 years by myself. And, and that was a big part of the problems too, is we had different visions and direction and drive. And, I made some mistakes on, how much equity I passed over. There was a bunch of issues there, but I'm glad there were, right? Because the pain pushed me to take action, right? Without pain, we don't grow. Without pain, we don't move. Most people think you chase pleasure and it's like, no, you avoid pain. And so I said, I'm going to do this. And, it was awesome because he said, well, that's a scam. It's not going to work. You're going to, you're going to be in so much trouble financially if you do this. Right. And I was just like, watch me.
and you know what's funny, Zach? It's like whenever, and I always tell people, life will challenge you, and it will challenge your desires and your goals and your ambition, because as soon as you said that, something negative was, thrown right back at you. And at that point, you could have sat there and you could have said, well, you know what, let me think about this. You know what, you're right. You know what, I'm right now, I got a new son, I have a family. You know, why would I jump out there and take this leap of faith and jump into this venture that I really don't know anything about? But a good thing you had the persistence and you did it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have students, right? And I was just talking to a student yesterday, and I need to be sensitive and careful here. I'll just say this. We'll just say this, okay? I have seen this over and over and over with lots of people. You'll have family member, you'll have spouses that will come down on you thinking they're protecting you, but all they're doing is they're projecting their own limiting beliefs on you.
Yeah, very true.
They don't think it's possible, so they're going to tell you it's not possible. Remember to take your advice and your teachings from people that have done and are doing what you're trying to accomplish, not from people that have no idea. Like, I would never give you marital advice. I have not qualified for that. I have an amazing marriage, but that does not qualify me. Right. I do not have a proven track record of changing lives and changing marriages. Right. I would never give you advice on politics. I never. Right. Like, right. I know nothing. Right. Nothing. And I think the only one that should give political advice are people that are actually in politics. They're actually, running and doing that. Not someone that saw something on Facebook. You know what I mean? So I think that it's very important to be careful of who you take your advice from and what decisions you make on what advice that comes. And so, yeah, I went for it. I had joined a coaching program. I dumped a ton of money into coaching. I dumped like 19 grand into coaching.
Okay.
Most of it on credit cards.
So that's one thing. So a lot of people getting started, they just want to go to YouTube University. They don't want to invest in themselves, and get quality coaching. What do you think that coaching that you got helped you do? How did that accelerate your learning?
100%. Like, dude, there was no way I'd have done it. So, I'm speeding up my story, but I had been learning about wholesaling and dabbling, and I had been in that analysis paralysis YouTube. But I was like, hey, we're going for it. But I had hired a coach a few years before. I paid 10 grand for him. Right. And it was a mistake. It was just a huge amount of information. It was just information overwhelm. I learned about sub 2, and I learned about short sales, and I learned about all this different stuff. Right. And I just felt overwhelmed. I didn't know where to start. Right. I didn't know what my goal was, what my goal should be. And I didn't know what he was trying to tell me what to do. He just gave me lots of information. Information's free. I didn't need information. I needed to clearly identify what I wanted, what my specific goal was, and find a mentor that's what they specialize in. And they have a proven process, step-by-step how to get there. Right. So I wasn't ready for the coach because I didn't know exactly what I wanted. But I was at that point, the very beginning of 2017, I was like, I want to do wholesaling. I want to do wholesaling because I understand this. And this is what I understood. I'll share with the audience. I still hold this perspective. I love wholesaling for this reason. I am in the business of finding deeply discounted properties. That's my business. If you're a real estate investor, flipper, buy and hold investor, wholesaler, that's your business. That is the business, finding discounted properties. Your exit strategy, what you do with that property, may change depending on your personal goals, right? What I wanted to do is build passive wealth, or passive income and generational wealth. I wanted it for my kids. I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to feel like I was a loser and not living up to the blessing of being born where I was born. I won the lottery when I was born, and I felt like I owed it to my friends, my family, myself to be the best and do the most that I could. And so I got into wholesaling because I would get good at finding deeply discounted properties. I get lump sums of cash. I could quit my window cleaning job, have more money than I have now, and be able to cherry pick the best of the best deals, right? And ultimately, I could automate that wholesaling business like I have now, that I don't even have to go on the appointments, and I get cash flow, and I get to cherry pick my favorite ones. Right. Okay, like I don't go on appointments. I don't do sales calls. I don't do coach, like I don't have to do any of those things. And so that's why I did it. And I realized that's what I wanted to do. So I needed to find a wholesaling coach. So that's what I went and looked for. right? And I found a wholesaling coach and he changed my life. So I joined his program in very end of January, first part of February, somewhere around there. And I found myself trying to do both. And I was working 60, 70 hours a week for my company, right?
Yep.
And I was so frustrated because I felt like I was pushing and growing this business and my business partner was just, coasting.
Yeah, coasting. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was so hungry for a change. I said, screw this crap. Like, I'm going for it. I'm burning the bridges. I'm making this crap happen. And so I sat him down on my birthday and I said, I'm done. Right? Like, you can cash me out. If there's profits, pay me. If not, like, whatever. I'm done.
I'm just done. Yep.
I'm done. And I built that business for a decade. That was scary. It was hard. I was there grinding for a full decade. I had, I still, to this day, I haven't washed windows for like 7, 8 years. Still to this day, I get phone calls from clients that have my personal cell phone saved. I had a business line, but they had my personal cell phone.
Wow.
Like, I washed so many stinking windows, dude. I was doing like $500,000 a year in sales in windows. Right. So anyways, I joined that coaching program, and you asked, how did coaching affect it? It was everything, because he gave me step-by-step instruction and I went to work. I did exactly what he said. I was obsessed. I worked my butt off with everything I had because I had some mortgage payments coming up, right? I had to make it work. And April 2017, a month after I quit window cleaning, I got my first deal. I made 10 grand.
Okay. So before we get into your first deal, this is what I want to say to everybody that's listening. Guys, if you join a mastermind or get a coach, find a coach, and that coach is leading you in the right direction, please, please, please listen to that coach's instructions, because they've been down that road before already. So many times we hear students say, well, I got a coach and they were teaching me A, B, and C, but I really wanted to do X, Y, and Z. So I said, well, why is that your coach? That shouldn't be your coach. You need to find a coach that's going to teach you on X, Y, and Z and learn from that coach. A lot of times some students will want to say, well, I learned this on YouTube. I figured this thing out right here. Don't do that, guys. Listen to the coach, because the coach has already have a proven track record. And once you follow that track record, you'll be like Zack. In the next 30 days, you'll make that $10,000 deal. Yeah. So just wanted to jump right in there real quick. So Zack, tell us about this first deal, man.
Yeah. So I had done what my coach had said, like one of the things he had me do is build a cash buyers list first. He said, it's so important. Right. And he gave me some ways to do it. And I had found this guy at an auction, and he was my only offer. I had people say I was 20 grand too high, but he had a 1031 tax exchange. He needed to move money for tax purposes. So he was hungry. He was the only one that responded about the deal. And I made 10 grand on my first assignment. I was just so ecstatic. Cause it was proof of concept.
Yeah.
I was like, in your face, I did it,
right.
Like, it is real. It can happen, and then I, by the end of that year, I'd done over 100 grand in wholesale fees.
Wow.
It changed my life, dude. The next year, $500,000. The year after that, 1.2 million. It's completely changed my life. I make over $1 million a year now. I'm a millionaire now in just a few years. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I freaking love it, dude.
So what marketing strategy do you currently use that you find that's successful? Because I know there's multiple.
Driving for dollars, baby. It's the best. It's the best in a lot of different ways. I preach this, scream it from the rooftops. I have a podcast called Driving for Dollars Mastery. I eat, sleep, and drink it, right? It's what makes me my money. Most people think driving for dollars is just for beginners. Like, no, it's not just for beginners. It's actually one of the most profitable ways to make money. I'm getting a 1 to 4 to a 1 to 5 investment, meaning if I spend $1 on marketing to the Driving for Dollars list, I make $4 to $5.
Okay.
So think about this. I spend 100 grand. I'm going to make anywhere between $400,000 and $500,000, right?
Wow.
Which is incredible, because that allows me to pay some of the best sales that you can find and pay them really well and do profit sharing with my team, which allows the business to run without me. All I do is look at my KPIs and that kind of stuff. So if you don't have a super solid marketing system that has huge returns on your investment, you're not going to be super successful. And I've tested pretty much everything. tested PPC. I've tested
Mhm.
radio. I've tested bandit signs. I've tested cold calling, texting, postcarding, all of the lists that people talk about, all of the niche lists you pull from the city, all the list source or prop stream or whatever you want to call it, right?
Mhm.
Do they all make money? Do I make money on them? Yes. But I make $1 million a year just from driving for dollars, and it is my fattest return, and it's allowed me to grow so fast and build my wealth so fast.
Okay, so driving for dollars is your marketing channel. So how did you get that set up? Were you driving for dollars first, and then you started building out a team of people to drive for you? How did that happen, Zack?
Yeah. So when I first, it was a lot of trial and error, right? So when I first started, I was just driving, adding addresses, writing on a paper, looking up on county records and sending postcards, right?
Yep.
Maybe doing some door knocking, just a lot of hustle. And I started that after I had made that first 100 grand. So what had happened was I did 100 grand, and then January and February 2018 were pretty slow, real slow. And I was pulling lists from listsource.com and from the city and county, records for like tax delinquent, code violations, eviction, things like that. And I didn't get a deal for like a couple months, and I'm like, oh crap.
Right. What's happening?
What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And so I started driving, and I added under 100 properties, 100 pretty bad properties, and pulled the list, and I sent postcards, and I got a deal. It was only like $7 grand or something like that.
Okay.
But I was like, dang, that was like zero marketing dollars.
Right.
I was like, I want some more of that. And so I recruited a bunch of people, right? Because before, when I started that was kind of before Deal Machine. That was before a lot of the tech. There was one app that existed called Driving for Dollars, and I didn't know about it though. So we were doing old school, and recruited a whole bunch of people. I did like this event and this dinner, and I showed people how much money I was making, and I was going to pay 20% of every deal to them if they'd help me go add properties. So we go to work on it. We just blow it up, right? We get to like July, August, find out about the Driving for Dollars app. So we start. So let me explain what the Driving for Dollars app is, or the Deal Machine app, if people don't know. So this is where you can drive through the neighborhoods, identify the houses of physical signs of neglect, and instead of writing down the addresses and looking it up, takes forever, right? All you got to do is, it's like a Google Maps image on your app, and you see the house, right? You driving by it, you see it, and then you just go to the map and just touch the house on your map, and it uploads all of the information you need to market to those people. Their phone numbers, their email addresses, their mailing address, the property address, the name of the owner, everything you need. So now you can text or postcard or cold call, whatever you want, right? And so we find out about this tech, and we go ham, right? By the end of that year, we made like $500,000.
Wow.
And there was a ton of testing and tweaking, and it was like, wow, like this is it. Like I found the lottery, like
how many real quick, how many drivers did you have?
I started off with like 12, 13, but they didn't, the consistency was rough. And, now people think you need this giant business with tons of drivers to make $1 million a year like I do. But the system I use now, I have one driver that drives part-time guys. And I make $1 million a year off that. I have one part-time driver who also does all my texting and sends all my postcards and skip traces. He manages my marketing, right? I pay him a base salary of $3,000 plus 5% of each deal. I have an acquisition manager that runs all my appointments, does all my acquisitions and dispo. I have 2 VA cold callers at like $7 an hour each, and one in-house cold caller. That team right there generates $1 million a year. They add 2,000 properties to my marketing list every single week. I'm going to share some exact numbers here. We send 2 text message attempts to each phone number. We send, except for the corporate, and we send 3 to 4 cold calling attempts. Whoever we don't get a hold of, we send 2 rounds of postcards. We redrive our market every 6 months. So that's the basic outline, right, of my business right now. And dude, it's super profitable. It's pretty incredible.
Okay. So let's do this, Zack. Let's take a brief break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Driving for Dollars and how you're getting the deals in the process. So let's hear a brief word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Finding real estate deals can be a challenge, but with the Batch Leads, it doesn't have to be. Batch Leads has created a one-stop solution for all your real estate needs, so you can find more sellers, close more deals, and maximize revenue. Batch Leads offers a comprehensive suite of lead generating tools that cover text messaging, skip tracing, finding comps, and much more. Batch leads help you simplify, manage, and organize all your data in one place. Batch will help you stack your lists and identify properties that appear on multiple lists and have multiple distress indicators. These sellers are likely to be highly motivated and eager to sell. Get the most powerful and complete lead generation platform in the industry. Locate sellers, buyers, and lenders nationwide in seconds. Go to batchlead.io and use promo code WeLoveEquity.
All right, we're back with Zack Booth out of Utah, and we were talking about driving for dollars. So Zack, just coming back real quick. So you said you had a large team at first, driving for dollars. It was hard to manage. What were some of the problems that you were having, and how did you resolve those problems?
It was inconsistency, right? And then, so one of the things we did is once we found this app and this technology, it took way less time to add properties. So within like the first 6 months of paying my drivers 20% of each deal, I calculated how many hours they had driven overall total. And if I would have paid them $20 an hour plus $100 per deal, plus paid for their gas, I overpaid by $60,000.
Wow. Ouch.
So
Okay.
I was like, ew. Like 20% is a lot of money. And now that it's so easy with the app. And so there was a lot of work to be done. The tech's was not as great as it is now. There's a lot of improvements, but we started testing new things. We kind of got rid of everybody and we just hired one person to drive for us. And there was a lot of tweaking and stuff, but like the big thing that changed my marketing system and how it works is I started coaching. So I never had any intentions or desire to be a coach or to like be the guru. It's not really who I am. I'm kind of a simple guy, but I had read a self-help journal called Living Your Best Year Ever. And it said you had to give away whatever you wanted to receive. So I made it a goal to make $1 million the next year after doing $500,000. And I didn't know how to get there, but reading a self-help journal said I had to give away what I want to receive. If I want love, I give love. If I want money, I give money. Like, okay, let's give away $1 million. How do we do that? I don't have $1 million.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do we do this? So I was like, I could teach this marketing system that put $500,000 in my pocket. Let's go find 10 people. And I went to my mentor that taught me how to wholesale. I said, hey, I want to teach 10 people this marketing system. I want to put money in their pockets. Can you help me find 10 students? And he started coaching me on how to coach. He said, yes, but you can't coach them for free.
Yep.
And he's like, you're fine to reinvest all that money back into them, but you can't coach them for free. They won't take you serious. You got to get 10 people that'll be serious. So I can't remember what I charged, but basically lost money, because I put all of it back into support and tech and a VA to help me and stuff. I didn't make any money, but more than anything, they paid to be a student and they blew it out of the water. I was shocked. And they kept asking me questions. I found so many mistakes in my business, so many holes. Like I found $100 and something thousand mistake. I had a student's like, Zack, when you send your postcards, you said put your tracking number. And I'm not able to set up my CRM to receive the text messages. When they text that number, just the calls. And I'm like, I've never received a text message. I went back to Callfire, which is the platform for the tracking phone numbers. And I had text after text. Yeah, I'd love to sell my house. Yes, give me a call. And I'm just like, shoot me right now. Right. So, I'm like lots of just silly things even, but some very serious and very strategic. And, they start asking me questions and I'm like, I don't know. I need to split test this. Let's test it. Let's, and I broke up my driving for dollars list into 4 parts: the absentee, corporate, owner occupied, and the worst of the worst properties. Zack, what should our criteria be? And all these things. So I started like really perfecting my system. And that's what got me from $500,000 to 1.2. It's because I started teaching it and implementing. Yeah. And it blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. But more than anything, I fell in love with it, dude. It's addicting. Like seeing people like have massive success. Scott Dallinger, one of my first students, he makes over $1 million a year now. His first deal with me was $113,000.
Wow.
Michael McLeish texted me like a year and a half after he joined my program. And he's like, I alone have accomplished your goal of $1 million. He's like, I've now made over $1 million from your marketing system alone, right? Like that crap is addicting, right? That makes you want to do more, like, cause you feel like you're actually making an impact. You're changing lives because especially after like I went through what I went through and how much, the finances have changed my life and my family and like seeing it change theirs. I actually have one of my students, I'm flying out next week. They asked me to marry him. Right? Like the bond and relationship that I built with these people, like, dude, there's no money for that. Like, It's amazing. I feel like I have my cake and I eat it too. I have like purpose. You know, it's kind of like my Christian mission I served. I served for service. I served to help and make an impact. And I served in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And I learned Portuguese, and I loved the Brazilian people. And all I did was serve for 2 years. And I felt like I got to have that again. I got to feel like I was just giving and serving, and it wasn't just a business. And so I fell in love with coaching, and that's what I've been doing mostly. Like when I automated my wholesaling business, that's what I did. So over the last 3 years of my life, I spent like 60, 70 hours a week on my coaching business because I love it. I'm addicted to it.
So you have primarily like a COO that's running your wholesale business, and you're focused on the coaching side now.
Yep. And I just sit in on the team meetings and the financial reviews, which is just 2-3 hours a week is all for the wholesaling business.
Okay, perfect. Well, man, we got a lot of information in there. Zack, you did a great job. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to have you back on so we can really dig into, you know, the driving for dollars and building up the team and everything like that. But for right now, we're going to put you on the hot seat. We're going to put Zack on the hot seat. All right, Zack, starting over, man, what would you do differently?
Hindsight's 2020, right?
Yep, always.
Oh man, there's quite a few things. I would have started educating myself sooner, right? I had a lot of limiting beliefs about my intelligence level. It's still not the smartest guy. I do know that. I haven't become delusional, but I'm not as dumb as I thought. You know, and I used to just say to myself, like, the only way you'll be successful, Zack, is hustle, because you're not very smart. And so I didn't spend enough time reading books or listening to podcasts or trying to empower myself. So I think that's a big mistake. I really realize now that the most successful people are obsessed with education, and not traditional education people, but actual education, studying, reading, you know, mentors, guides. It's important. That's what I do different.
Okay. And you kind of alluded into this next question is, what separates those who succeed from those who fail as real estate investors?
Obviously, there's the education part, right? A lot of hustle in the right direction is so important, right? And so, you know, people might be listening. Okay, great. Well, what's your instruction, Zack? You know, what's your instruction to take action? What's the first action that I should take? And the key should not be learning about wholesaling, learning about flipping, learning about multifamily syndications. Don't worry about the exit strategy. Focus first on how do you find a deeply discounted property, and how do you know that it's a deeply discounted property? Focus on that, and focus on finding some, right? If you get good at that, you will make a lot of money.
Okay. So guys, listen, gotta have focus. Stop trying to do too many things at once. You know, you don't want to multitask. You want to focus on, how do I find deals? How can I analyze that deal? Because guess what? Finding the buyers, you'll definitely be able to do that once you understand what a deal is. So Zack put it in layman's terms: go out there and find a deal. That's your step. That's step one to the process of being successful as a real estate investor. That's if you want to be a wholesaler, fix and flipper, multifamily syndicator, got to be able to find a deal. So that's step one. So Zack, lastly, how can we get in touch with you? How can we find you? If we want to know more about, you know, your coaching program, your teaching, everything like that, where can we go to search out Zack Boothe?
Yeah, I'm on pretty much every social media platform. You know, I got a podcast, YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. So if you have a particular platform you like, definitely find me there. I do have some really cool, amazing free content that I did that I'd like to give you guys. So the specialty link is dfdmastery.com, stands for driving for dollars, dfdmastery.com/40 in 40, the number 40 in 40. I'm sure you'll be able to put that in the show notes, right?
Yep. We'll get it all in there.
So what that is basically a series where I took a camera crew, flew to Tampa, Florida. I'd never been there. Took $1,000 is all. And the goal was to turn that $1,000 into 40 grand in 40 days doing real estate wholesaling using my driving for dollar system. And I documented day by day. I share exactly what I was doing, what apps I was doing. You hear me cold call, you hear my scripts. I mean, you get everything. I mean, if you guys want free how to do something, like there's no better content out there. I guarantee it. It was a horrible, miserable, hard experience for me, but it's going to be amazing content for you guys. So, I ended up crushing it. I made 3 wholesale deals happen. I made $93,000. And I also cherry picked 2 other deals that I kept as rentals with over $100,000 in equity on that challenge. So it's incredible, incredible experience. Definitely check out that free content. Driving for dollars is not just for beginners. It is the best and fastest way to make an absolute fortune in this business.
Well, great. We'll make sure we have those show notes, those links in the show notes below. Zack, I want to appreciate you, man. Thank you for being on the show. You guys know what to do. You got the action. You got the information. Now go out there and take action. Remember to enjoy the journey. And Zack, again, give me your Instagram, IG, all of those handles. That way we can put those in the show notes.
Yep. Instagram is Zack Boothe. So ZACK, last name Boothe, BOOTHE. YouTube is Real Estate Investing with Zack Boothe. Okay. Podcast is Driving for Dollars Mastery. Facebook, Zack Boothe as well. And TikTok, I think, is The Real Zack Boothe. And
don't worry about it. You'll share them with me. So we'll make sure we have them in there. All in the show notes, because I'm the same way. Somebody, what's your IG? I'm like, just Google my name. You'll find everything.
Yeah, I have like 3 people now that help me with all my social media content. It's a little crazy right now.
Yep. Same way. So thank you, Zack. Not going to take up any more of your time. Guys, we will see you on the next episode of We Love Equity. Thank you for listening to today's show. I picked up some great actionable items, and I'm sure you did as well. If so, let me know. You can always reach me via social media at facebook.com/MRCSMaloney, Twitter at MRCSMaloney, and of course, IG at MRCSMaloney. You can also always reach me via email at mmaloney@equityri.com. Make sure you reach out to our guests as well. You can always find their contact information in the show notes below. If you have not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Join the family. And while you're at it, leave us a 5-star review. This is how we tell if we're providing you with what you need for your journey. If there's someone you would like for me to interview, or if there's a subject matter you would like for me to cover, please let me know. Finally, if you're looking for additional information about real estate investing, go to equityrealestateblog.com. Also, youtube.com/Marcus Maloney. Until next time, family, always enjoy the journey.